Tower Defense Simulator is a Roblox game that's been around for nearly 6 years. It's a game with an extensive history, it's had many features and updates added throughout its existence. Unlike every single video game or piece of media, there's going to be strange occurrences and happenstances that have been recorded throughout the entire history of the game. This is the Tower Defense Simulator Iceberg. But before we start, what is an iceberg? More specifically, what is an iceberg chart? An iceberg chart is a graph usually made by a community or a person. It has many different layers, with the top layer being closest to the surface, showing information that you can easily find or become aware of. And then the bottom layer, which is deep into the ocean. It holds information that is not usually easy to find. It sometimes can be disturbing or outright even dangerous. This specific iceberg chart is a couple months old, so it's possible some entries may be inactive or have been cleared up since then. The original poster of this iceberg chart is u/newbus999 on Reddit, so shout out to them for letting me use it for this video. BelowNatural. BelowNatural is the owner of Tower Defense Simulator and paradoxum games. A few years ago, he was honestly one of the most iconic parts of TDS, spawning in tons of TDS meme videos and being on tons of YouTube thumbnails. He's the reason why Tower Defense Simulator exists and oversees the entire project. No controversies come up to mind when I think of Below, besides maybe the Tower Battles dramas or the Tower Defense X dramas, which we'll explain later in this video. John Roblox. John Roblox is a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. Back in 2019, John originally made a video on TDS, claiming it was better than Tower Battles, which was what he was making content on at that time. John and Below became friends, and John made content on the game and gave it lots of exposure. He ended up leaving TDS for his own game, TDX, which is probably why he's on here. TDX vs TDS can be a huge drama sometimes. Many people saying the games copy each other, blah blah blah. It's kind of a sore subject with both games, so I won't get too far into it now. Hardcore mode. Hardcore mode is one of the most unique game modes in TDS, and personally, it is my favorite and I think it's the best in the game. Being released in the Overhaul 2020 update, it was a kind of a weird release due to the backlash the community gave the developers for constantly delaying and nerfing a lot of towers and gameplay mechanics. I'm sure everyone here knows how hardcore works, but there are special enemies that never got added into hardcore, like Voidcaster or whatever this is. Hardcore was also the only game mode to get its own unique lobby for a brief period, and had some weird symbols that no one could decode before the lobby got removed entirely forever. I could talk about hardcore for like an hour, but other things await on this list. TDS merch. There's actually a lot of TDS merch. There's some on Amazon, there's fakes, there's plushies, there's hoodies and backpacks. TDS backpacks and shirts have sparked a little controversy because of the high price tags and the very bad value for the game rewards you get. The plushies, however, give you an actual skin to use, which I think is pretty cool. Razuatix. Now, this is probably something even I don't know about. I found scrapped skins, scrapped towers, and all kinds of stuff over the years, but I could never uncover anything about this. Raz was TDS's head coder for years, but was suddenly fired from the game in late 2023. There's lots of rumors, but my best guess is, based on the information that I know, there was some sort of altercation with him and some other developers that ended up with him either being fired or leaving the game. There's some rumors that Razuatix slowed down the development process, leading to a lot of delays and lack of updates throughout 2023, but perhaps we would never have an actual answer to this one. Halloween 2023 event fail. There are 100 different videos on YouTube for this one, and it's possible you played it yourself. Halloween 2023 or Lunar Overture was a massive flop and ended up enraging the community. It had huge delays, long, boring, grindy gameplay, and the final chapter, Act 3, was literally impossible on release. The event's cutscenes and lore never really made any sense and didn't connect together at all. The only real lore we got in the entire event was Act 1, with some weird purple cube and the Umbra just being a mortal human. None of it ever really mattered a year later. There's no lore additions to it, and it just remains as a huge scar in TDS's reputation. Tower Battles and TDS controversies. This one is definitely a topic that a lot of people can get very mad about. TDS was born as a very, very similar game to Tower Battles. A lot of the towers still use a very similar color scheme and concept to Tower Battles towers. A lot of TDS features definitely were inspired or ripped from Tower Battles, and the Tower Battles community was getting really frustrated back in the day. There's been multiple Twitter altercations between developers and fans over the years, most notably between this one with BelowNatural and Planet Earth, who is Tower Battle's owner. This is another topic I could talk a lot about, but it would never end, and it's just way too complicated for me. UGC items. Lunar Overture was definitely pushing to be one of the most ambitious and unique TDS events, and with it, they introduced limited UGC that you could get for beating the event. One hat in particular, the narrator's hat, was originally a prize for the first 15,000 who beat Act 3. This ended up being bugged and not awarding the first winners at all. They also had an obby in the lobby where you could beat it and get these God Cube fragments, which are also bugged. Every UGC item is limited and you can actually still buy them. God Cube. The God Cube is this purple block that has been in lots of different events throughout 2024. I think the God Cube is something that they're trying to bring into the game's lore, but they haven't really connected everything together properly, if that makes sense. Krampus had a God Cube fragment. Please Donate Hasm event guy had it. Basically, it's like a piece of lore that hasn't really been explained yet, so yeah. Anyways, that's gonna conclude this video for now. I do want to do more tiers on the iceberg. This video is more of like a test to see if you guys actually want to go into this long form type of documentary. Anyways, like and subscribe if you actually are interested, yeah.